Announcement. Our senior speaker this morning will be introduced by her friends, Lydia and Misbah.
Useless.
Unnecessary.
Waste of space.
These are all phrases that could be used to describe most of Meredith's online purchases.
Whether you know her as Meredith, Iversha, or that girl who basically runs IR and owns at least 3 of every Apple product, Meredith is hard to miss, and she's always there when you need her. From spontaneously buying you bagels and Starbucks in the mornings to having every school supply or hair tie you will ever need to borrow, she never seems to disappoint.
She is there to rant with and freak out too whenever you need her. And she somehow manages to always have the perfect picture of her cats or strange YouTube video to calm you down.
Despite her many claims otherwise, Meredith is beyond intelligent. She has turned down a job at Apple and helps the IR run more efficiently than any corporate IT department.
If it was allowed, Meredith would have her technology introduce her. If you've ever had a class with her, you know she has at minimum 2 iPads and a laptop open at all times. One will be dedicated to playing that evil game with the octagon. Another will probably be open to the PowerPoint that you are all currently 5 slides behind on. And a third will enable her endless quest for statistics to support that article you just mentioned in class. Her multitasking abilities are impressive, to say the least.
Meredith also has an incredible arsenal of hidden talents. Meredith has skated for most of her life and is really good at it. She has also done gymnastics for the majority of her life and casually does handstands in the hallway, sometimes claiming, "I was bored." She is a cheerleader and teaches little gymnasts as well, leading them to national tournaments. Then there is debater Meredith, who made it to states this year.
When participating in these activities, she doesn't just do it to get it done. She gives it her all and has more dedication than most people I know. She spends hours designing leotards and hair bows for her teammates in cheerleading, gymnastics, and speech and debate, on top of all of her hard work and accomplishments, like qualifying her and her partner Maria for states this year in public forum debate. They both worked on their cases after school for hours upon hours in the weeks leading up to the district and state tournaments. And that's just one example of the dedication that Meredith gives to all of her activities.
Meredith denies her brilliance and achievements, but a lot can be said about our wonderful, amazing, hilarious queen, and we love her to death. We know she has a bright future, and she will never give up on the things she is passionate about. And now, your senior speaker of the day, Meredith Elizabeth Kasper.
Hillary Clinton, Olivia Pope, Sarah Manning, Beyonce, Cordelia Chase, Nicki Minaj, and Regina George. Some common factors come to mind when I mention their names, don't they? They are all famous for being their own person, living in the real world, adapting to the current times, are powerful, intelligent, and persecuted for their lifestyles and personalities. Oh yeah, and the most important thing, they have all been called bitch. Now, I know that for some of us, hearing that word in this setting may be uncomfortable or even offensive. But for this speech, I'm going to discuss specifically that word and what it has come to mean in our society. However, in order to minimize the discomfort of hearing that word over and over again, I will instead say either B-word or Hellcat. When we hear the B word, I would guess that most of us think of a lewd, overbearing, malicious, spiteful woman, or someone who is extremely difficult or unpleasant, as the definitions from Merriam-Webster would have us believe. But I think those definitions are wrong. And although this may surprise you, coming from someone whose second defining trait is her negativity, I would rather look at the positive aspects of the word. Being a Hellcat is not a bad thing. In fact, we should celebrate it. Take a look at the examples I cited earlier, and you will understand what I mean. First is Hillary Clinton. She is often portrayed, especially by her political opponents, as a vicious, spiteful man-hater and too power hungry. Being power hungry is not a bad thing, and not in the least. For men, being power hungry is considered a positive attribute. It indicates that the man is assertive and works effectively in positions that require command over others. Just the sort of characteristics that might be desirable in someone who was, let's say, President of the United States. Yet, where Hillary Clinton is slurred with the B word, men exhibiting the same characteristics are celebrated. So if society is going to use the B word to describe Clinton, maybe we should use the same word to describe John Boehner, or John McCain, or any of the candidates running against Clinton for the White House. Or, on the other hand, we and Hillary Clinton can accept the label as a positive. Yes, I'm a Hellcat, and that's exactly what America should want in its next president. Of course, that is easier said than done. Unfortunately, when a woman has the same drive as a man, it is still perceived as Hellcatty and looked down on in society. And that perception can have impact. Hillary Clinton centered her 2008 campaign around power and what she wanted to accomplish. Her opponents criticized her for campaigning like a man and having a Hellcatty attitude toward campaigning. That so-called campaigning like a man is one of the main factors that enabled Mrs. Clinton to be one of the final two Democratic candidates in the 2008 election, according to syndicated columnist Maureen Dowd. Despite that success, however, Mrs. Clinton still did not achieve her goal. How much those negative perceptions affected that outcome is open to question. Second, Beyonce Knowles, a well-known singer who is most certainly the modern definition of a Hellcat. She is a powerful woman who has power, fame, and fortune, and uses all three to the best of her advantage. Rather than be selfish and rude, Beyonce chooses to use her influence to stand for what she believes in, including countless charities, organizations, and political issues. For using her power and money to better the world, she has been given the title B word. We see an amazing woman doing amazing things being called a B word, and therefore that B word is synonymous with something positive. Unfortunately, society still sees this label as a bad thing, and even though my views are positive, the majority is negative. The most common problem in today's world is that it is cutthroat, and for those who identify as women, it is even more so. We often tear each other down, most commonly with the B word and some other disparaging remarks meant to tear others down and cause mental repercussions for life. But unfortunately, our society dictates what is negative and what is positive. And negative influences of women by other women and women by men created the negative vibes given to the B word. And so what? I myself am malicious and spiteful at times. Everybody is. But if you try to conceal your true feelings and choose not to push to get what you want, chances are what you want most in life will not be accomplished. And when you think about it, in today's world, who is thought of as a B word? A woman with a spine. Here at Laurel, even though we try to be empowering, the B word is thrown around often. Most often when speaking of the other girls' schools, but in a competitive setting such as this, we often use it to put others down, to bring ourselves up either the social or the non-existent class rank hierarchy. We all know that Laurel spends a lot of time and money on marketing to show the public that we are not a girls' school full of Hellcats. We are nice just like everybody else. But that isn't the basis of Laurel School's beliefs. Laurel graduates are strong, intelligent women who are still living in a man's world, and because we are told to strive away from acting like a B word, we are also staying away from what we stand for most, changing the future for women. Basic, rude, crazy, evil, loud. Those are all common attributes used to describe me, but of course, that is not the whole story. Regina Canis, the first and best attribute to describe myself, not a plant, but a type of dog, and for those of you who know me, know that I prefer cats. But in this case, I think that dogs are okay, as it simply fits better than cat. But I enjoy power, squashing the little university school bugs in debate, knowledge, speaking my mind, and thanks to Urban Dictionary, I also know that I am, quote, a woman who goes above and beyond the regular people to express her inner self, unquote. It tells me that I have similar qualities to Hillary Clinton, Regina George, and many other women who want what most women want deep down. I have been called a B-word many a time, even before high school, and I used to think it was the be-all, end-all of curses before I learned the basics of my repertoire of profanity. But it used to upset me like crazy. There was even a time that hearing that word caused me to cry, but it is now the first descriptor of choice when describing me. Preferably the B word is preceded by queen, but you cannot always get your way. Many here have not gone through my frame of mind change and feel as though I am degrading myself. It is obviously understandable, but this is simply a point that must be made. Society has caused for both the initial negative meaning and the new positive meaning that is not as well known, and it is the new, more positive meaning that should be the one in the dictionary, as it has been used to describe Hillary Clinton, Beyonce, Madonna, and other powerful women both in reality or in the fictional world. As a member of Laurel School Speech and Debate, I have learned that I myself must be very careful not to act like a B-word during debate rounds, especially when debating against boys, as judges are prejudiced against a woman, overpowering a man and putting him in his place, especially with incorrect evidence. So I say we take the word back. I want more of you to view the B-word as something positive and not a negative attribute. And keep this in mind. If you want power and are fun, you work hard to achieve your means, and are honest, which of course can sometimes be a downside, but it's nothing to verbally harm some over, then the word should not be used to describe women only, but all genders on the gender spectrum, and it should be something everybody enjoys being. I wear the crown and the title with pride. This makes me a powerful woman who is living in the future, and I am enjoying myself. Thank you.